Systems are where you make sense of your data and evaluate business processes. Analysts spend 80% of their time cleaning and preparing data to update routine reports and only 20% of their time truly brainstorming on the numbers and extracting insight from that data. The result? Less time to ask the right questions about their data and less time to pull variable insights that can improve your bottom line. At D. Brown Consulting, we have a better approach. We empower you to extract insights from your data at the speed of thought. We employ a curated methodology.
Welcome to the Pride of Symbols, a people driven by the passion for excellence and the courage to take on big challenges and see them through. With integrity of mind and systems, our words, structures, and processes are always dependable. We are proud of who we are, what we do, and what we stand for. Firm is our commitment to the vision to build a globally recognized distribution company and to become the key driver of trade revolution across Africa. We have been empowered to make products and services accessible, affordable, and usable across Africa by building an efficient distribution network, and to remain the market benchmark for dynamism, efficiency, and competitiveness. We are rulers. We provide order. With confidence, enthusiasm, and wit we speak. The vulnerable and voiceless we empower. This is me.
You have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Hashem Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearson VUE, and PSI, delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Hashem Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define
Welcome to the Pride of Symbols, a people driven by the passion for excellence and the courage to take on big challenges and see them through. With integrity of mind and systems, our words, structures, and processes are always dependable. We are proud of who we are, what we do, and what we stand for. Firm is our commitment to the vision to build a globally recognized distribution company and to become the key driver of trade revolution across Africa. We have been empowered to make products and services accessible, affordable, and usable across Africa by building an efficient distribution network, and to remain the market benchmark for dynamism, efficiency, and competitiveness. We are rulers. We provide order. With confidence, enthusiasm, and wit we speak. The vulnerable and voiceless we empower. This is me. This is TD Africa.
you have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Hashem Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearson VUE, and PSI, delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Ashem Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Ashem Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement.
Welcome to the Pride of Symbols, a people driven by the passion for excellence and the courage to take on big challenges and see them through. With integrity of mind and systems, our words, structures, and processes are always dependable. We are proud of who we are, what we do, and what we stand for. Firm is our commitment to the vision to build a globally recognized distribution company and to become the key driver of trade revolution across Africa. We have been empowered to make products and services accessible, affordable, and usable across Africa by building an efficient distribution network, and to remain the market benchmark for dynamism, efficiency, and competitiveness. We are rulers. We provide order. With confidence, enthusiasm, and wit we speak. The vulnerable and voiceless we empower. This is me. This is TD Africa. We rule. We conquer. We are Simba.
Digitization simplifies the way we collect data. Organizations collect data from multiple touchpoints to enable them to make effective, profitable, data-driven decisions. Yet, a lot of data just sits there. Why? Well, organizations operate two systems: operational or transaction systems and analytic systems. Operational systems are data repositories where you execute business processes. Analytic systems are where you make sense of your data and evaluate business processes. Analysts spend 80% of their time cleaning and preparing data to update routine reports, and only 20% of their time truly brainstorming on the numbers and extracting insight from that data. The result? Less time to ask the right questions about their data, and less time to pull variable insights that can improve your bottom line. At D. Brown Consulting, we have a better approach. We empower you to extract insights from your data at the speed of thought. We employ a curated methodology that simplifies the analytic build process to eliminate technical friction, making it easier for everyone in your organization to get the exact data they need securely. The best part? All of this can be done without relying on overburdened IT teams. D. Brown Consulting offers consultancy services in building, reporting, and analytics systems. As Microsoft Gold partners, we offer business process automation solutions with no-code and low-code applications, chatbots, and robotic process automation engines, and financial modeling services. We visualize our reports, dashboards, and analytics using the principles defined by the International Business Communication Standards, IBCS. The use of standardized notation eliminates ambiguity and ensures consistency in the design of your visualizations for more effective data storytelling. Are you looking to achieve more with your data? Contact us today. Visit D.
You have a learning goal, and we have just one job: to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Ashem Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearsonville, and PSI, delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in the respective industries. Asham Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Asham Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement or personal goals tracking. Let's help you bridge that learning gap. All you have to do is take the next step to enroll in our courses today with prices that are easy on your wallets. Request access to our training calendar by emailing training@ashem.com, and you can also get the most of your learning investments by checking out our promotional offers here. offers.ashem.com/ms learning. You can call 0704 636 7151 or call 0704 576 9927. You can visit our head office at number 9 Ibikunle Street off Abad Macaulay Way, Yaba, Lagos State.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good day, everyone. We would like to apologize for the slight delay. We experienced some technical glitches, but yeah, we're fine now, and then we are set to go live. So, if you are joining us for the first time, we'd like to welcome you to the Azure community. The Nigerian Azure community. So in a couple of months, we've been having series on Azure DevOps, Azure fundamentals, and this session this afternoon, we have no other person than Raphael Gapmomo, who is also a community leader and a very experienced cloud infrastructure engineer. So I don't know how to describe him. He's very professional, very experienced when it comes to the cloud environment. As he has worked as a Linux administrator and all that. So it's great to have you, Raphael. Hello, Raphael. Can you hear me? Hello. Oh, so I think
Hello. So we need to. I need to stand in for Raphael. I think there are some glitches at his end. They are not allow him to. They are not allow him to meet up. So let's quickly get over because we already spent a couple of times trying to fix things. So today we are going to talk about. We're going to talk on development for enterprise DevOps. And if you are just joining us for the first time, this is the continuation of the AZ900 study series organized by Azure Nigerian community. And we've been in this on this series since last month. That is in the month of we started in the month of August, and today we are in the 3rd of September. So quickly, let's go without wasting much time. So now, thank you very much, Roland, for the wonderful introduction and all that. So my name is Simo Etuk. I'm your regular member, a leader in the community. So you're not talking to, it's not a stranger that is talking to you. So now we are going to talk about some of the things we have to cover, and this is going to be around structure your how you can structure your Git, how you can manage Git branches and workflow, collaborate with pull requests in Azure repos, identify technical debt, explore Git hooks, plan foster inner source, match Git repository. Then there will be a lab review and module. So quickly, we will not have much time to wait.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Imo.
So,
yeah, so before we get into the technical, because I know a lot of people are wondering, oh, what is Azure DevOps for enterprise? Is it different from the normal DevOps that we know? I mean, so because like this is some of the like conversations or thought line that is currently some people are having in their head. Okay, I like, so can you give us a snippet of information on what does it mean by Azure enterprise DevOps?
enterprise DevOps is a kind of DevOps services that are a DevOps as a whole is a platform whereby the free version is for, I think they have up to 5 team members that can collaborate and get project delivered. But if you want to go beyond that, that means already you are an enterprise. So enterprise DevOps is a server that enterprise ready, is an enterprise ready platform, and it supports teams of any size. It can range from tens to thousands, and Azure DevOps is that just as we have GitHub Enterprise. So that is how Azure DevOps is. Whenever you hear the word Azure DevOps Enterprise, it means it is enterprise ready. Does that clear some doubt?
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
So I hope it's the same for the community member. So I believe we can dive into the technicality of it now because of the short time that we have. So thank you so much. It's nice having you.
Okay, you're welcome. So now we have with me on the screen that explore mono repo versus multiple repos. Now we have something that we are aware that repo, when you hear repo, it has to do with GitHub. And I can tell you as we speak that Microsoft Azure DevOps has a repo. It's one of the components of Azure DevOps. So now, if you look at the two of them, it exists in a kind of there are two philosophies on organizing your repos. Even if monorepo, as it is written there, it's a source control pattern where all the source code is kept in a single repository. Like there's no way everything that you do is in one repository. It's why this mono repository is easy is that it's a kind of it's simple to give all your employees. Maybe I'm using employees because I was actually looking at DevOps, Azure DevOps in the enterprise scale level angle. So it gives a simple access to all your employees in a very to access everything in a short time. And just before you know, someone can clone it down and make some changes, and everybody work on that the repo. But in the other way around, like the name implies, multiple repository, which is the direct opposite of what we just discussed, monorepos. This one is when you organize the project into separate repositories. Like a repository is a place where, first of all, as it is there, the repository is a place where the history of your work, before now, before the DevOps and before any version control, our repository was our local system whereby you write a code, store in your local disk, and it will store there. And as you can see that the task was too tedious for collaboration. There was no room for collaboration and all that. Then the fundamental difference between the repo and multiple repos boils down to a different about what will allow teams working together on a system to go fastest. So in this case, there's no way you can be doubtful that multiple repositories will actually give teams a faster space. I do put them at a faster speed for them to deliver projects. The multiple repos view in extreme form is that if you let every sub team leave, it's okay. Let me quickly go back. So if you look at the screen now, Azure DevOps project can contain multiple repositories. There are about two philosophies we talk about. Then the fundamental difference are this. So now when we are in our demo section, short demo section, we're going to explore this in Azure DevOps environment. Then how can you track changes to a project over versions? Then for each version record, we have functionalities, change functionality, and remove functionality. These are what we in a repository. New functionality is like when you pushed a change from your local repository to it, and there's a change for it, and it will change once you update the existing repository. That is, I throw a kind of creating pull request, making a pull request, and it is merged. You can always change the functionality of the existing repository, and if it does not, you can remove the functionality. So preference is to always avoid dumping logs entries into a change log. Logs are noisy, and so it's easy to generate a mess that is not helpful. Now, can be manually created, can be automatically populated, can be a combination of both. Now, auto, git log, git chain log, and git chain log. These are the kind of automatic. When this is another angle that has to be explored. Change log is where you can easily keep some logs files that are maybe are not readily, maybe you are not frequently accessing it, or maybe that are not directly affecting the project that you are working on. So another one is manage Git branches and workflows. Now, explore branch overflows. So feature branching in Git is about, by default, GitHub will, like GitHub, I'm using GitHub, but it's the same thing also applicable to Azure DevOps repo. In Azure DevOps repo, you will have the master branch, and you have either the master branch or the main branch. Then any other branch that you create is actually a branch. Is not going to be functioning as a main branch or master branch. So in this branching, we have what they call feature branching. All feature development should take place in a dedicated branch instead of the main branch. The reason why when you hear the word feature, when something is being featured, it means that that thing is actually trending. It is where in terms of Azure repo, feature branching is where your active team are working on a current project. That is the feature branch. So forking workflow, every developer uses a server-side repository. Yes, the server-side repository is what every developer is using, and evaluate the workflow. What you need to do is that when you are forking the workflow, you need to evaluate it. Does this workflow scale with team size? Is it easy to, some of the things you need to ask yourself, is it easy to undo mistakes and errors with this workflow? Does this workflow impose any unnecessary cognitive overhead to the team? So these are some of the few things you need to ask yourself. So now you have explore feature branch workflow. First of all, you need to create a branch. We all know the normal command, git branch, then the name. Then once you do that, you add a commit to it and open a pull request. Then discuss and review your code. And the next thing will be to deploy it, and you match with the master or the main branch. Then all feature development should take place in a dedicated branch instead of the main branch. Encapsulating feature development leverages pull, which are a way to initiate discussions around a branch. Share a feature with others without touching any official code. You can actually do a lot of things with branching in a GitHub repository, in Azure repo. You can discuss everything you need to discuss. Testing and debugging can take place there without it affecting the code in the main. So we have now the demo section is Git branch model for continuous delivery. So let me dive in. Now, if you look at the GitHub branch, create a branch, make changes, create a pull request, then you address review comments and match your pull request, delete your branch. Git flow is a lightweight branch-based workflow. The GitHub flow is useful for everyone, not just developer. Yes, even if you are not a developer, you can use it to maybe if you are anchoring, if you are into technical writing, you can actually use Git branching to help you in organizing your work and all that. So we'll move down to another one, which is explore fork workflow. So forking workflow gives every developer their own server-side repository. Once you fork a workflow out of the main branch, you are directly working. You have a kind of been given your own server. Whatever you do there will remain in that branch. So anyone that forks that branch will always work with a separate server on his own. Then each contributor has not one but two Git repositories, a private local one and a public server-side one. Most often seen in public open source projects, contributions can be integrated without the need for everybody to push to a single central repository. That is one of the advantages of version control. Everybody, you can push several things, but all of them will go without the need for everybody to. Yes, you may not push it to a single repository because it is a distributed version control. That is why GitHub has remained one of the most powerful version control among all the version control out there. So fork repository use the standard git clone command. Then lesson 3, we talked about collaborate with pull requests in Azure repos. So when you seek pull requests, if you pull something from your own repository after forking a particular branch or a particular repository, you need to first of all create a pull request whereby the person in charge, maybe the team lead, will review your pull request, and if everything is in order, he or she will merge it to the main branch or the master branch. So now from the diagram, you have the branch, discuss and merge. Developed features on a branch and create a pull request to get change review. Then you discuss this and approve code changes related to pull requests. To the pull request. Now merge the branch with the click of a button. It's not something that is hard. You just click a button and it got merged. So pull request lets you tell others about changes. Collaboration using the shared repository model, review and merge your code in a single collaborative process. Be sure to provide good feedback and protect branches with policies. Most time the policies are necessary because if not, there could be some accidental, if there's any accidental deletion or modification, it will alter the main work that you need to work on. So we have this. We move down to the next slide, which has to do with now Azure repository. Azure repos collaborating with pull requests. Now this is a demo section that you play with on your own. Then GitHub mobile for pull request. App can render breakdown. App can render markdown images and PDF files. Just as we now manage pull requests directly within the app. Comments can be added, including using emoji shortcodes. So there are a lot of things you can do with GitHub Bow. I think this is, you can actually download it. It's available on Play Store and Google Play Store and App Store for iOS users and all that. So identify technical debt. Yeah, we talked about technical debt as it is, as a developer or as a DevOps engineer. If you look at it, examine code quality, short deadlines, a lack of coding standards, and poor technical skills can lead to code that is not clear and readable, that is not also maintainable, not documented, and it is not also extensible, efficient, or secure. So one of the things is you need to consider, as even as a developer and as a DevOps engineer, you need to consider the code quality, if it's maintainable and if it's also clear and readable. And even if they are, all these things are in place, are they documented? Can they be reused in terms of being for future purpose? So is it something that someone who does not even directly involved in the project but has the knowledge about how structure of software development lifecycle should be can easily understand it and all that? So those are the things you need to consider to reduce technical debt. If you examine complexity and quality metrics, a few of the most important complexity related metrics are program vocabulary, calculated program length, volume, difficulty, and effort. So these are one of the things you need to do. Technical debt is simply when you have a lot of clustered project environment whereby it's not, the codes are not qualitative enough. You cannot identify, the bugs are not fixed, and all those things. So introduction to technical debt. Technical debt describes future penalties that you incur today by making easy or quick choices in software development practices. So now what you do is, most people cut corners just to make sure that maybe they deliver their project on time, or maybe to just maybe compete and be in the market on time. Not forgetting that any code that is developed in a rush will incur some debts in the future, and that is not well. That does not well in terms of DevOps best practices. Technical debt is one of the major issues. So measure and manage technical debt. Failed build percentage has to be measured so that you will not get, oh, sorry. So that you will not get yourself, you will not incur technical debt and all that. So failed deployment percentage, ticket volume, bug bounce percentage, unplanned work percentage. These are the things you need to measure to be able to ensure and at least reduce technical debt to a reasonable extent. Now, sources and impact of technical debt. Common sources of technical debt are lack of coding style. and standards. Lack of or poor design of unit test cases. Now, all these things are what we should be in mind as developers or as DevOps engineer, that anything that does not have standards, even if it's not in the software development field, we can even as professional in the IT field or in the IT industry should know that, okay, if you are dealing with, if you say, okay, you're professional, you are dealing with something, you have to be very professional. You have to follow some level of standards, and there should be some star that you put in place. Lack of or poor design of then testing in coding in a kind of software development is very, very key. A lot of people don't put that into consideration, but when you don't test from the continuous integration stage, maybe you're leaving everything to the continuous deployment stage, you are going to face a lot of technical debt. Ignoring or not understanding object orient design principles is very, very also important. And also monolithic classes and code libraries. In anything you do, you have to there are some deployment best practices that has to come in place. You have to put in place some containerized solutions and microservices to avoid monolithic cases, classes, and code libraries and all that. So another one is poorly envisioned use of technology, architecture, and approach. Over engineering code, insufficient comments and documentation. Sometimes comment help, and when you have documentation to follow, not writing self-documenting code, taking shortcuts to meet deadlines, leaving dead code in place. It is very, very common among most people when they try to meet deadlines, and everything will become will be rushed just to meet deadlines, and that's in the future will not tell well. So those are the things we must pay attention to. Using automated testing to measure technical depth and add problems during development that makes it more difficult to add customer value. They know how you can add, add some value to a customer and all that. So we have SAP's productivity and frustrate development teams. Makes code both hard to understand and fragile. It also as well increases the time to make changes and to validate those changes. And instead, what you need to do is for you to start small and grows over time. And the technical depth will, if you overlook it, it will start as gradually, and before you know it, it might overpower you. One way to minimize the accumulation of technical debt is to use automated testing and assessment. If you can get some of the hands-on this thing and check out for this thing, I'm going to drop a website whereby you can check out some testing solution like the SonarCube, sonarcloud.io/about. You can read about some of the testing tools, test automation tools that you can use. Let me paste that link in the chat section. The moderator, is any question that we have there? When is it? Okay. Okay, I pasted the link there, so you can always go there to check out some of the testing, the automated testing tool that you need. So we have um, ways to minimize technical debt is to use automated testing enhancement. One of them is SonarCloud, and if you see the website, let me bring it over here. So it's really, really helpful. You can see it works with Azure DevOps and other version control system. So you take your time to explore that. So now we move down to the next slide. What we have here is discussion code quality tooling. Azure DevOps can be integrated with a wide range of existing tooling that is used for checking code quality during builds. Which code quality tools do you currently use? Yes. So what do you or don't you like about the tools? So these are some of the survey questions that you can ask yourself and answer when you are ready. So we have this other one, measure and manage technical debt. Now, if you look at this is a kind of automated testing automated tools, like whereby you use it to test the code qualities and all that, track vulnerability and fix bugs. If you can see from the diagram, we have over 55 bugs and we have vulnerability has been 3. Code smell has been more than, in fact, it's over 5 point something, I think, K, 5.1K. So now code smells is what that is simply that this happened as a result of a kind of poor or misguided programming structure, a kind of coding structure. When you are not following a standard, just like having mixing everything together. So that's what it will result in what is called code smell. So if you look that up in to understand better, then we have what they call integrate other code quality tools. Okay, because of our time, we won't be reading this much, so we need to at least explore some of the things we need to explore. And in Azure DevOps environment, let's see how we can go to this place. I think so. We have. I'm going to dev.azure.com. So now, let's see that open up. I'm trying to access the Azure DevOps environment, but for a kind of, let me zoom in my screen. This Azure DevOps environment, you can start free if you do not have, if you do not already have an account with Azure DevOps. Mind you, before you can do anything, I think it's tied to Azure subscription. You can as well access Azure DevOps directly from the Azure portal. So here I'm going to maybe sign in. See from the Azure portal, if it's for Azure DevOps, you see it coming out. So you can explore it from there. Then we talked about GitHub branching and all that. Let's quickly just see how that works. So we get to at least have some levels of understanding in terms of what GitHub branching is all about for new people that join, newcomers. Is okay. Let me sign in. Now what we're going to just quickly do. We are going to, if you are with me, get to a kind of create what is called. Let's create a folder on my screen. I'm going to create a folder. I'll call it git/demo. I use simulator or git/demo. Now I have this folder here. You can see my folder is empty. We have a folder here. So the first thing we are going to do, if you have a Git bash installed or you have a terminal, you can use it. You can use the VS Code, a terminal in VS Code, or you can even use. Okay, I think it works with even ordinary default. What's it called? Default command prompt on your Windows operating system. So if you are using a MacBook, you can always get away with. Let me validate my login to GitHub with a code. So that is so now while on the Azure portal, you can get to this place and say Azure DevOps. There's no two ways about we now have Azure DevOps organization. That's what you can access here. So this place, every that you must have an organization, must be created under organization. And in an Azure DevOps environment, you can have as many organizations as created. I think the limitation when it is free, the free version. Let me get that information right. Number of okay. If you have any question, feel free to direct it to the moderator. He will bring it up for me. So there are things you can explore about the pricing when it comes to Azure DevOps. So these are the pages that we need to explore to get to know what this free version covers, because the most important thing is about you understanding the cost of it. We have Azure DevOps server that we are going to build an enterprise scale level of a DevOps project. You can acquire your own server. That's where this development for enterprise DevOps comes in. Then you can see that the free version, individual services. Now you can start one free Microsoft hosted CI/CD and one free self-hosted CI/CD. So now, if you look at it from here, which you can always go back to it, look at what the charges are there. Then look at the one that has to do with user licenses. We have the basic test plans and basic plan. So this is how you can explore that. So every project in Azure DevOps must be in an. So that's what you need to know. Note. So I have signed into my GitHub. I'm going to go to. Okay, let me go back home. So now I have created that local repository. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to also create a repository in this place. Under here, I can create, let's say, it might be the same name or it might not be. So this is coming up. AZ400 demo. So we have this. So the same thing on Azure DevOps. So now what did they say? We have made it easy. Okay, let me think about this. So in this place, I'm going to specify my project name to be AZ400 demo project, demo pro. So I have that. I can decide to put description, and I'll make this project private because I'm not sharing with anybody. It's any external person collaborator. So this place now, you see, is Git. That is the default version control. Then the work item, you normally select the basic, leave it at basic. So when you create the project, that is when you have access to Azure repo. And Azure repo, as the name implies, is just like you having a GitHub repository. Look at it here in this place. Inside this GitHub repo, you can take your time to explore it when you have access to this. See, look at just as you will clone a repository. Let me quickly, I'm putting this one as private as well. I can decide to add this README. It's always important to add README. Then the license I usually use is the standard is MIT license. Then you see that this branch is a main branch, but normally, if you are going to, if you look at this one, on your local system, the branches that will come up there is master. So for you to avoid all those mesh conflicts, most time I advise people just go to this place, rename this branch to master, so that you will not have to be battling with mesh conflict, because if mesh conflict wants to throw you off balance, it will mess you up a big time. So if I refresh this place, the default branch I'm going to repeat that because it's going to replace what I will type demo. So I have that. I'm making it private again. Okay, let me just leave it at public. Then add readme. Git ignore depending on the text editor you are using. I'm using Visual Studio. I can select the MIT license. Git ignore will help you to will help you to add up all the Jones files that are not directly relevant to your project. So that's what Git ignore does. Then instead of clustering your repository with unnecessary Jones files, so now you see the default branch has been changed to masters to master. The reason why I'm changing that is on your system. If you check the head of your of where your when we explore this, you see that the default branch on this GitHub Git bash is master. It will detect as master. So we have created this. Now, if you go to this GitHub Azure DevOps, we have this link. Just as we, if you go to this place, you can clone this. It is the same way you clone this particular place, this particular repository link. Now, if you want to clone it, if you go to that folder that we created, navigate to the folder. Let's say cd into desktop because I actually put that in desktop. Now, when you have the desktop, the folder name is cd into git demo folder. So we are there now. If you git clone it, just as we were told in the other place, you need to git clone this. Note we are cloning this directly from Azure repo. So we will git clone this. Now that is being done. I don't know if my screen is clear enough. So when that is done, if we want to, okay, let's say we want to just deploy a simple website, maybe that let's see something that we can deploy. So that is still being cloned. Oh, okay. Why it's taking time is I didn't supply my credentials. This is the first time of me trying to use that. So it's going to prompt me to supply Git credentials. It's loading up before it can work. So now we have. Let's see if we can whether we can add a small code snippet to it to our project, at least to form. So okay, let's see what fail to. Okay, now I'm going to first of all configure my own Git credentials. Apologies, I didn't configure that. So I will configure that with this particular interface. So first of all, I will say git config because this is my first time of using this git bash after the first installation. I need to configure the global credentials. My username will come here. More web is my username on GitHub. So now I will enter the git config. Let me expand this so you can as well and get along with me. Dash global user.email, my email that I use on my GitHub. No, on, yes, let me do that. Once I configure for GitHub, I think it will work for Azure repo as well. So yahoo.com. And let's see what happens. Does it work? Something. If you want to set a default editor, let's see what this will give us. Dash global put core.editor. Okay, so let's see what this one is. It's not actually picking. Okay, let's git clone. Or paste the repository. But if this doesn't go through, it actually has clone now. But oh, you didn't finish. It's empty. They also come with some files. Okay, so now I will add another account. Let me see. Okay, I can actually use this one that I'm using for my GitHub, for my Azure DevOps. You appear to have cloned them. Now this repository is empty. There's nothing inside. So now when we say, okay, we want to put some files, let me get some files inside. Like we can just do something like add some okay, let's open this folder with in what's it called, in a text editor. We'll cd into that. We're already in the folder. Let's cd into. We are there already. Because there's a folder that comes with this, and which is this. See now the Git has recognized it as master. The reason why I changed the other one, although in GitHub in the DevOps repository, we have in Azure DevOps repository, we have this. Now let's understand this place. This is cloned to your computer, like I'm cloning now. But if you if you have had an empty repository, maybe a local repository, and you wish to bring that existing repository from your command line to Azure DevOps, this is the link that you copy to it. You understand? This is like normal GitHub command whereby you have git remote, you add this remote origin readily. Then the next thing will be to push the origin and all. So now another one is that you can actually import a repository from GitHub directly. Oh yes, GitHub directly. Then you add the link to clone here. Normally, if you add it here, you first of all need to create a password or path for your GitHub. Like how do you create the path? These are authentication method that you need. You come to setting and go to developer setting. Let's see, developer setting. Here you can create personal access token that we will use to supply in that place. If I say, okay, let me generate new token and call it Azure Rep. What is the time? Okay, almost our time will soon run up. Azure Repo. So these are what you can actually, let's see, repo. All these ones are by default. I mean, just select some of the credential that you need, then generate token. If I generate this token now, I will where is it? Okay, let me see. Okay, I have my token here. This is it. So if I copy it to this place and put my username to be, let's see what happens. Then I paste this. You should be able to announce. Okay, let me say I want to clone this particular. I want to clone a particular repository that I have here. It's just for me to go to my repository and copy. Let me go here and copy a URL. Just clone one. Now I have this. Okay, let me say I want to clone this particular repository. If I copy this place and come to paste the URL right here, and you see that, let's see if it will import. So that's another way. If you are asked in your exam, because the essence of this thing is for you, the easiest way you can get your code directly from your GitHub to Azure repo is through importing the repository directly from your GitHub. And before you can import directly, you need to set up a GitHub what you call personal access token and all that. That is the kind of authentication method that you need. So I believe we have. If there's any question, okay, the font size is small. Well, okay, just for me to zoom into my own this thing. So now I have imported the repo. So this is how Azure repo works. It's similar to just as you have your GitHub repository. See that everything is the same. You can all the commit that comes in will come in here. Let's say I want to, okay, let me say, okay, I want to clone this particular repository now. I want to clone this particular repository by going to this place. I want to clone this particular repository now by going here and say, okay, let me clone it to my own local. Okay, I want to clone it now. Let me go out of this particular place, down to normal desktop. I am already, let me see into my own desktop. We are ending this section by in 5 minutes. This is 4:03. Sitting to desktop. I just want to show you something using the git clone. So just bear in mind that all the git command that works for normal GitHub also works for Azure repo. So in fact, the Microsoft owns GitHub, of course. So they're almost similar, but just that the same thing you can do in a GitHub is what you can also do in this GitHub Azure DevOps repo. So I believe by now we can maybe ask question and get to know what we need. So now we have this we are cloning a repository that has larger files. That is it. Now you can clone in VS Code directly. That is, if you have your VS Code installed, you can clone it directly into it without having to like bother by anything. So another one is you can as well. So another one is the ID. There are several ID here. So if you want to clone directly to, you can say, okay, this one I'm going here. This is going to open a repository, a VS Code directly. Okay. Yes. I'm canceling it because I don't need it. I don't need to do it. So this is how you can clone it. And if you can see, you can also, if it's Linux, you can use the SSH to SSH into it and all that. So this is what this thing. Then branches. If you maybe if this also have finished cloning. Okay. It's really large. Okay. So in your own time, make changes to a file that you have we've cloned now. When you after making changes, you go to you can as well create branches. The first branch and just git branch will create a new branch. That's how it is. Git branch with a name. So that's how you can get that done. And that is that for today. And mind you, tomorrow, just as a reminder, tomorrow is another day that we have the final series for. No, it's not the final because this is like module. We are by tomorrow will be in module 5 of the SD400. So the section continues next week and up per week till we rounded up. I think the SD400 has 9 modules, and will be in 4 by tomorrow. This particular one that we're treating today is module 2, which was postponed in previously. So yeah, if you have questions, reach out to us on the community and all that. So I will hand over to the moderator and take my leave now. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Imo, for that wonderful session. So we've come to the end of today's session. So if you have any question, you can you can drop your question on any of our social media platform. So to get all the information as regards the community and other sessions that we'll be having coming up next and other activities, you can follow us on Twitter at Azure Nigeria, and we're on LinkedIn, Azure Nigeria Community, and also we have a Telegram group and a WhatsApp platform. So those are some of the communication channels that we use to get connected with other community members and see how we can move the community forward. So if this is your first time, kindly go through the YouTube channel to see all the series that we've been having over time, and keep up to date with us on all our social media platforms. Right. So thank you so much for joining. Stay tuned and see you next. Oh, yeah, not next week. So see you tomorrow, same time, right? Same channel. So yeah, if you have other people who are interested in learning Microsoft Azure DevOps, right? Be kind enough to share the link. We have um, a lot of information and resources to share with them. One of the things that we want to do in this community is to empower as many people, right, to understand the opportunities available in the cloud and DevOps environment, right? And so that's one of the reasons why we are putting up week in, week out series on different topics, right? So just to keep you engaged, keep your spirit liberated. Okay, so thank you. My name is Joseph Roland, and we get to catch up some other time, right? Bye.